Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome to Made
everybody.
of Stars. We're actually going to be kind of switching it up this week and talk more about current events and women's rights.
Yeah, I mean, like what's going on in this current events in our country, United States specifically. So we're only really focusing on what's going on in the United States. So that's what we're gonna be mainly focused on, unless there's something that's like world topic currently going on. So today's topic, it's more about the debation of abortion.
Right now, they're trying to overturn the Roe v. Wade, which protects women's right to choose. Um, but if this law is overturned, it could make abortion illegal in a lot of different states, especially in the South and more of the red states in the country. Not in places like New York, really, or maybe even California, because New York's pretty much the most liberal state in the country. So it's not going to be as affected, but we don't really know what it could do. We still don't really know. So even me, I'm not sexually active right now, but I went to there's this website that used to be called the Pill Club, and I tried to see if I could get birth control even though I'm having sex with no one, just in preparation because they're going to try to get rid of birth control options in certain states. There's a possibility of that. So I, in preparation, even though I live in New York, was like, you know what? Why don't I just try and see if I can get this just in case, just to be prepared, even though I don't need it right now. But it could be it could be potentially pretty dangerous for
Right.
women, especially if they're living in the South and they don't have options.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like, I think abortion is one of those topic that's very debatable. And personally, I think we as women need a choice. You know what I mean? Like, because I just think that, like, for whatever reason, you don't want the child, either with, like your health issues, especially a big one. If you are a single parent and you're a single mother, especially you're a single mother, let's just put it that way. And let's just say if you don't like, if you have health issues and you're not able to really take care of that child, then like, you know what I mean? Like you got to do the right thing. Or, if you want your child to have a better, home or place to live, but you don't have enough money and you're struggling yourself, and you got to make the right choice. And, you don't want to bring a child in this world of like experiencing like homelessness or no food, no, house and things like that, live in the car. Like, you know, do you really want your newborn or, a 1 or 2 year old, a 3 year old to live with you like on the street or something like that? Like, you know what I mean? You have a lot of choice to make. And or if your health, if your body isn't up to par, or you have certain like cancers and stuff like that, do you really want a child and knowing that you might die and this child might not grow up to be with whoever they want? That you have to put them in the foster system because, God forbid, there's no family that willing to take care of it, or no family at all. You know what I mean? Like, it just, these situations put women in a very tough situation, and like I said, we have the right to choose as our body, and I'm sorry, men, but you don't know what it's like to go through pregnancy and stuff like that. And having a child, especially if you're a single mom. I mean, I'm not saying single dad isn't, doing their thing. I'm, given to single dad out there too. But at the same time, women, we have a lot more things go through like pains and work and, like I said, like, even if you have a family, you know what I mean? Like your husband can only do so much, like, but you have back pains, you can't eat. And some, pregnancy are like you're laying in bed for 9 months. I mean, and things like that. And I have family member who were bedridden for like most of her pregnancy. And, it was really painful to like watch her not able to get out of bed, not able to do anything, not able to go outside. So, that's
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely like a lot of medical reasons that could like um be difficult for the mom to birth a child, like, and you don't even know if you're gonna survive the birth or the pregnancy, things like that. Um and I definitely agree with that, as far as like if you're not able to provide for the child, then it should be up, I mean, in the end it's still up to you. I mean, it should be up to you. If you don't have the money to provide for the child, and the child won't have money for food, or you guys won't have a place to live, um which is a lot of struggles for single moms, because it almost always ends up being single moms. The dad is the one who gets to leave, because the mom is the one who is always ending up taking care of the child,
yeah.
most of the time, or majority of the time. So the burden of deciding what to do with the child and to take care of the child falls on the mom, and then this burden and this responsibility of this choice is also falling on the moms too, um which doesn't make that much sense, considering women can only get pregnant once a year. Men can impregnate a woman each day if they wanted to. They could impregnate two women each day.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, they could impregnate a woman. If they impregnated one woman for 365 days a year, they would produce 365 children, but there's no birth control for men, right? There's no prevention for that. But a woman can only get pregnant once a year,
Mhm.
maximum, you know? After 10 months, maybe she can get pregnant again in that window, after recovery. But yet we're not dealing with any birth control options for men. The burden again falls on women. Women can't even women can only get pregnant so many times, but men can just spread their seed like all throughout the land with really little to no consequences or responsibility. And I think that's why this is such a hot topic and such a hot debate, because men really want to chime in on this debate. And of course, who's making these laws? Older white men are making these laws. And they're the ones deciding, and always have been deciding, what women do with their bodies, which doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
And it's creating a lot of division, as if there isn't already enough. There's creating even more division between men and women, and between different races. And there was already so much division because of the pandemic and because of this divide and conquer, but they're using more and more tactics. And now it's this Republican versus Democrat, you know, issue. So it's really gotten just very out of hand. People can't agree to disagree anymore. It's a huge problem.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the Democrats and Republican, they don't agree, as like always. You know what I mean? And like you said, like these men are like our Supreme Court men, and they have nothing else better to do, actually, to make these kind of laws. I mean, they have billions of other laws and world, issue needs to take care of. Why are you focusing on this thing you have no idea or to be doing, like you have no idea what it's like, and things like that. You can't speak for your wife or your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, whatever. Like you just don't go there, man. Like I don't understand what do they do, like other than trying to tear our country apart with this stuff. And you're not letting like women protest either. Like they're not allowing women to protest anymore sometimes in these cities and states. And because they don't see it's right. I mean, who to say is not right? You know what I mean?
I think the government seems to think like when in doubt, just make it illegal. That's kind of been that's kind of been the ongoing theme for the past 2 years. Like when in doubt, just make everything illegal, make it against the law, make mandates, do this. And it's kind of just like people don't have the right to protest, or and they're not even allowed to speak about these issues. And it's a huge problem, honestly, because right now women are, you know, there's probably women who are already considering illegal abortions, which are dangerous and in a lot of cases deadly. So there will still be women in those areas in the South and all the red states who are getting abortions, and they will die from these abortions. They're not going to stop getting them just because the government has made it illegal. That's not how things work.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're very close to Canada, we're very close to Mexico. So I have no doubt these women would somehow get to Canada or Mexico, even cross the ocean to the other side of the world, Europe or Asia, whatever. I mean, if people want abortion, they will get abortion. Like, it's not something you can stop them. Like, there's ways to do it. You know what I mean? You can't do it in the United States. Well, I guess I'll go to the next closest country, Mexico, Canada, or fly if they have family, friends in Europe, Asia, whatever. I'm sure they will do it. Like, it's matter
Wealthy people will always be able to afford abortions. Wealthy people who can fly all around the world will always be able to do that. But people who are poor will go to the cheapest, nearest doctor and die from an illegal, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like you have to be of a certain income to even be able to fly across the country and do this. That's
yeah,
why now it becomes like a class issue as well, because only the wealthy are going to be able to afford to go to their private doctors in Europe or wherever, you
right.
know?
I
And it's just
mean,
it's very sad.
right. And also the fear is that, like you said, illegally, they might take a bunch of painkiller drugs, or, they might take like poison substance, or hung themselves, or whatever ways that they will do to not, you know, deal
Keep
with.
the baby. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, like, some people doesn't have the money, or they're homeless, or whatever reason, they can't afford it. They will do, probably the easiest thing is probably take poison. I mean, that we're not condoning that, would never condone that, but we're just saying that could be a deadly possibility, that people might start doing, like, and then it's just gonna look really bad, and in our country especially, and that's gonna create another social issue, you know what I mean? Like, the cool kids gonna be like, oh, that's what they're doing, like, the TikTok, the social media trend. Let's not do that. Like, this is not cool. This is not something we should be even thinking about doing. But there are some people out there wouldn't make a trend because they were just like, oh, this is cool to do. No, it's not. Please don't do that.
I mean, Tide Pods were cool and they were actually like making people really sick, and some people died from that. I mean, right now there are still people in who got arrested and went to jail in New York for possession of weed. Weed has been decriminalized for over a year, but there's still people sitting in jail because of possession of weed. They haven't taken them out of jail.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
that's a prime example of how the system is broken, you know? I mean, the people are being put in very dangerous situations for petty crimes, and that could happen now. We don't know how the government is going to try to control our bodies in the future, because they've already done so much already. And it's
Yeah,
honestly very, it's just terrifying. And I understand both sides, but unfortunately people need choice. I
right.
mean, no, it's not unfortunate, it's just a fact of life. People need choice. People
Yeah,
need to be able to choose what's right for them based on whatever's going on in their life, you know?
yeah. I mean, we're not a communist country like China per se that, they only limit one child policy, before. Now I think they can have two if, but anyway, like back in the boomtown of years ago, China was only allow one child policy, and we all know the result of that. All the girls get dumped in the field, the trash cans, the river, and whatever. Why not? Because people don't have a choice. And when that comes, most people want a boy, back in the China days, because boys in China redeem like royalty because, oh, they can, like, work in the farms and stuff, and women, it redeem, like, they don't care because women in China, like, if you have a girl, if you're pregnant, if you have like a girl, right, they will dump you in the field or something because they redeem you no good, because you can't work at the farm, which is a mistaken, because girl can do everything anything men can. And B, they redeem girls is not good, because once you grow up, you get married, you belong to the husband side. You do not belong to your family anymore. So that's why, another reason, in China, if you have a girl, they mostly get dumped in the field, trash can, whatever. Like, and you see is a lot of people who adopt, in the United States or around the country. It's mostly Asian women, Asian little girls,
Yeah.
and I have friends, moms that adopt, two Asian little girls, and because they were, unwanted, because they have brothers, that were their mom wanted, and the girls, their mom didn't want it. So
I mean, that's honestly really sad. I mean, I know about that too, and I mean, even if they were, even if they did keep the child, the baby girl, she was completely undocumented. Like, there were cases where they kept the girl, but she didn't exist according to the government. That's the best case scenario. They're keeping
mhm.
the baby completely under the radar, so like that baby can't realistically have a good job, you know, or career unless she becomes an influencer, because according to the government, she doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So,
and you
I mean,
can't
if,
get an ID, you know what I mean? Like, how would you go anywhere? Like, you pretty much just like stay in your little town, I mean, it's good and
exactly.
bad. Like,
That's not a full life, you know. The government really does have control over these things. You need a birth certificate. You need these things in order to, you know, go places and get a job and go to school. So, I mean,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that's that. I mean, like, there's only so much we could talk about, but like I said, abortion is definitely a big issue at the moment in our country. And I really hope they make the right decision to let us have a choice, because if this ended up in no choice, this country is going to go down fast, with the women taking poisons, doing whatever they can left and right. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that.
I don't want to see it either. I want to see people safe and not dying for this,
Yeah.
for this issue. So, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. If you have any like comments, or if you want to discuss something, let us know, put it in the comments, and spread it to around to your friends, families, about our channels. Help us out a little bit. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day.